Hello friends, in today's video I am going to talk about 4 law or acts which you should know at least as an NRI, because most of things of NRI compliance come from these 4 acts also. So let's begin. So most of the time I feel that NRIs are very scared that there are lots of laws and they are covering left, right and center, and they are confused that what to do, what not to do. So here I told that I at least tell them that what are those 4 law or acts which governs most of the NRI transactions, most of the NRI payments and most of the NRI activities, so that at least they have a bare minimum knowledge or understanding that where they should have a focus. So let's begin. So the most important law which governs the NRIs are FEMA. This is the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. Now FEMA is not about taxation. FEMA is all about sending money outside India and sending money from outside India to India. So it's more about transaction, cross-border transaction, which is done by either resident or non-resident. So if you are non-resident sending money to India, FEMA will apply to you. If you are resident sending money outside India, the FEMA will apply to you. And what basically FEMA do, it basically regulates money for specific purpose, mostly purposes which are not in benefit of India, right? So the simple way, if we talk about FEMA as an NRI, if you are bringing money to India, then you have to be careful. If you are taking loan or giving loan in India, then you have to be careful. If you are investing in a business which is restricted, then you have to be careful. And if I say the FEMA regulates more business transaction than personal transaction. So always as an NRI, if you're planning to invest in India or bring some money or do some kind of business partnership, better to consult a FEMA expert and then only proceed for that transaction. Even suppose you are as an NRI, you want to get some kind of gift from your parents, or somebody is sending money abroad, the FEMA applies to them, to your parents or to your relatives from where you are getting money. Again, so if you are getting money from India to outside for your purpose, for maybe you are getting as a gift, as an inheritance, you should consult the FEMA. Generally there is no restriction, but there is an amount wise restriction that in 1 year how much money somebody can send outside India. So this is a very simple thing. Another thing, like you want to sell a property and take money abroad, there is, you have to pay taxes and then only take money abroad after paying taxes. So all these things are coming under FEMA, and FEMA is not very critical when you use it properly. It's very simple for most of the transaction. Only it get complicated when you are going to use this for some business purpose or some purposes which is prohibited. Now second law we are going to talk about is of course the Income Tax Act 1961. So this act is more about taxation than about transaction. So it doesn't talk about how much money you're taking abroad or bringing in India. It basically talks about the taxable income and non-taxable income. So when you are in India or when you are outside India, what kind of income going to be taxable, that basically covered by income tax. So if I say thumb rule, although there is no thumb rule in any, especially in income tax, there are so many explanation which you understand. But if you say just a thumb rule, if I say for NRIs, most of their foreign income is exempt and most of their Indian income is taxable. So if you are earning from Indian source, Indian asset, it is going to be taxable. If you are earning abroad and after earning, after receiving, you are sending money to India, it is not taxable, most of the cases. So this is all about income tax. Income tax just want to ensure that if you are a NRI, because in income tax either you are a foreigner or you are a NRI, both are treated on same par. So there is no concept like a Indian national or foreigner. So suppose you are a NRI, the only thing they want to ensure, income tax want to ensure, that before you take money abroad, you pay taxes here, so that the income tax department don't have to chase you outside India. Third act which you have to understand, which you should know, is about Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010. This is basically an act which regulates the donations, contributions from abroad to Indian entity. For example, there is an Indian NGO, you want to send some money, so this NGO has to be registered under this act. This is basically to regulate that somebody should not send a money in India on the garb of donation to do some anti-India or anti-national activities. So it has happened. So always make sure when you're making donations, make donation to some NGOs which are registered under FCRA, and also you check that what is their history. You should not definitely want to get into something where that NGO is running some illegal activity on the garb of a NGO. So just ensure that if you are really helping somebody to build a university or want to help some NGO to feed people or educate people, just ensure they are clean. Now, easy way of doing, you can do just online due diligence, just find out some news about that agency, and most of cases you will understand whether it's safe to do donation to those kind of agency, because might be sitting there something looks very appropriate, on the ground it may not be. I have seen problem coming out, because then how the Indian agency will be looking at you like sponsor of that illegal activity. So by paying money, definitely you will not like to buy trouble. Last and fourth important law which you should know is all about the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. So as the name suggests, it all about the money laundering. Now some people do it purposely, some people do it without knowledge. Now as you know, there is no excuse in the law of, you can say that you are not knowing about it. So whether you know or not, the law is a law. Prevention of laundering, basically it deals with more about hawala or transaction which are done through illegal, you can say, sources or channels, okay, or done for the illegal purposes. Now there are something which can come under money laundering. For example, you are taking money abroad by declaring that you are sending money to support your family members, but instead you are doing some business investment there. Of course, you may ask that who is going to ask, who bothers. Now again, if it's a small amount, maybe somebody is not bothered, but if it's a big amount or it's a part of a big amount, it can be a problem. Then because you are misdeclaring your transaction when you're sending money abroad, it can come under the Prevention of Money Laundering, and let me tell you, it's a very serious act. Easily people can get into criminal cases and FIRs. So always we are sending money abroad or sending from abroad, just be sure that wherever there is a declaration you have to submit either in RBI or you have to submit 15 CACB, pay your taxes properly and declare your transaction properly. Suppose you are taking money abroad for the business, there is no restriction. Of course, if you are doing some kind of transactions, some kind of businesses, there may be restriction, but most of cases you can take money from India for any business purpose abroad without any problem. Only thing you have to declare it properly. Just because they are tedious, just to avoid, because I know that there are TDS or TCS, so people do misdeclare just to save TDS. For example, people misdeclare saying that they are sending money sending money abroad for treatment, while that money is to buying a house, which can be a serious problem here for your parents or relative also who are sending money, and there also, because most of cases there also in that country also you have to make some kind of declaration when money lands into your foreign account. So be very sure to classify all your transaction properly, and this will keep safe your relatives, your parents also who are sending money from abroad, and will keep you safe also there. So don't misdeclare just to save some TCS or save some hassles or save some time, because once things go other way, this will be very costly and nasty affair. So that's four act you have to keep in mind when you're NRI. You can search on Google. Most of cases for individual, there are very certain sections you just have to read. It's not all the act is for them. Mostly these acts are to control the activity at a commercial level, right? But again, certain activities are there for the individual level also. So always keep in mind 4 act, that is first FEMA 1999, Income Tax Act 1961, then Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2010, and Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2002. These 4 acts you should at least have a knack, at least have a little bit knowledge. Anyhow, if you feel any one of your transaction is getting stuck or maybe getting hit by any one of these law, definitely the good option is to consult an expert. You can consult us also related to any of these when you're doing any kind of transaction, so that all the concerns and confusions goes away and peacefully you can do the transaction. You can deal with your those kind of activities whichever you want to do. So always whenever there is a query, there should be an expert before you take the transaction, not after taking transaction, because once transaction is done, misdeclaration is done, I don't think much can be done. So that's all friends in this video. If you have any query related to any of this act, either in FEMA or maybe Prevention of Money Laundering Act, or maybe you are feeling like you are doing some kind of donation, how should you do in India, right, or about the income tax, so please ask us, please put your comments in the comment section. If it's a personal question, please don't put personal information on comment section. You can send all those things in the mail. Mail is given there on top of our comment box, so you can write there, or you can connect with us also. There is a mobile number also given on top of my channel, so you can call us, and we are really helpful or happy. We'll be happy to answer those queries. That's all in this video. Thank you. Have a nice day.